Alright, let's dive a bit deeper into the minds of our Sopranos characters. It's Sopranos intelligence tier list. Tony Soprano, intelligent. You know, I've always admired Tony for his cunning. He's the kind of guy who can outsmart the law and run the Jersey mob without breaking a sweat. I mean, the man's a strategic thinker, always a couple of steps ahead of his enemies. He's got this animal instinct that's perfect for the jungle he calls home. Sure, he's not your typical genius in the academic sense, but in his world, Tony's a mastermind. Dr. Jennifer Melfi. Tier. Genius. Now, let's talk about Dr. Melfi. I've got to say, she's one of the sharpest tools in the shed. With her extensive knowledge of psychiatry and her ability to hold her own against Tony's manipulative tactics, she's nothing short of a genius. I mean, she's the one person who can get into Tony's head and actually make him think. That's a rare skill, and it takes a brilliant mind to pull it off. Carmela Soprano. Somewhat intelligent. Carmela. Oh, Carmela. She's often underestimated, but I see her. She's got this emotional intelligence that's off the charts. She knows how to work Tony and the family dynamics to her advantage. I wouldn't say she's book smart, but when it comes to the street smart side of things, Carmela can hold her own. She's got a good head on her shoulders, and she uses it to navigate the complex world she's a part of. Christopher Moltisanti. Alright, first up is Christopher. I'd slot him into the somewhat intelligent tier. The guy's got street smarts, sure, but book smarts? Not so much. He's got ambition and some good ideas now and then. But let's be real, he makes some bonehead moves that get him in hot water. Plus, his decision-making, not the sharpest tool in the shed. Corrado Jr. Soprano. Moving on to Junior. This old-school mobster? He's going in the intelligent tier. He's been around the block, knows how to play the long game, and he's got a knack for strategy. But he's had his share of slip-ups, especially when his emotions get the better of him. Still, you don't get to his level without having some serious brains. Salvatore Big Pussy Bonpensiero, last but not least, Big Pussy. This is a tough one, but I'm gonna say he's average. He's loyal, does his job, but he's not exactly out there winning chess tournaments, you know? He's a solid soldier, but when it comes to the big leagues of brainpower, he's just not hitting home runs. Let's continue with Silvio. This dude is the definition of a silent mastermind. He's got that quiet magnetism and a sharp intellect that makes him a force to be reckoned with. I'd say he's comfortably sitting in the intelligent tier. Why? Well, he's the consigliere, right? The guy Tony leans on for advice. He's got this knack for strategy and timing, like a conductor leading an orchestra. Only this one's playing a symphony of the streets. Plus, he's got that Machiavellian vibe, always cool-headed, making rational decisions even when things get heated now. On to Paulie. Oh, Paulie, you gotta love him. He's a bit of a wild card, isn't he? I'd place him in the somewhat intelligent tier. He's not your textbook smart guy, but he's streetwise, which counts for a lot in their world. He's got loyalty, he's got jokes, and despite his, let's say, unique personality, he's managed to survive all the madness, which means he's doing something right. Plus, he's been around, seen things, done things, and you can't discount that kind of experience. AJ Soprano, landing in the average tier. AJ's the kind of guy who might not ace a math test but could talk his way out of detention. He's got that streetwise edge that comes from growing up in the Soprano household, but when it comes to book smarts or long-term planning, he's often caught slacking. I mean, the dude sometimes acts without thinking, which lands him in hot water, but he's got a good heart, you know? Meadow Soprano. Meadow, on the other hand, is sitting pretty in the intelligent tier. She's not just book smart, she's got a sharp tongue and a sharper mind. Whether it's debating life's big questions or calling out hypocrisy when she sees it, Meadow's always a step ahead. She's the kind of person who reads between the lines and understands the bigger picture, which definitely earns her some serious brainy points. Livia Soprano. Now, Livia is a bit of a wild card. I'd slot her into the somewhat intelligent tier. She's not winning any Nobel Prizes, but she's got a PhD in manipulation and emotional chess. She knows how to play people like a fiddle, and let's be honest, that takes some smarts. But it's not all about IQ, it's about EQ too. And Livia's emotional intelligence is off the charts, even if she uses it for less than noble causes. Adriana La Cerva. Somewhat intelligent. I'd say Adriana's street smart, you know? She's got that savvy to navigate the mob world's social scene, but when it comes to the big league plays, she's a bit out of her depth. She's got the intuition, but not always the best execution, landing her in the somewhat intelligent tier. Richie April. Average. Richie's a tough one. He's old school, right? got that traditional mobster mindset, which sometimes works for him but also gets him into trouble. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to adapting and evolving, so I'm gonna place him in the average tier. Janice Soprano. Intelligent. Now Janice, she's a wild card. She's got the Soprano genes, so you know she's got some brains. She's manipulative and knows how to play the game to her advantage. She might not be a genius, but she's definitely got some clever moves up her sleeve, earning her a spot in the intelligent tier. Artie Bocco. Artie is a classic case of somewhat intelligent. He's the man behind Vesuvio, the go-to joint for the Jersey mob, which shows he's got some serious culinary and business chops. But intelligence isn't just about running a successful restaurant. It's about street smarts too. And Artie? Well, he's had his moments. Remember when he tried to play loan shark with Jean-Philippe? That was a facepalm moment. He's got the book smarts down, but when it comes to the hustle of the underworld, he's a little out of his league. It's like he's got the ingredients for a great dish, but sometimes he just can't get the recipe right. Furio Giunta. Furio hovers right around average. This guy's not winning any chess tournaments, but he's not exactly clueless either. He's got this old-world sensibility, a sort of wisdom that comes from the streets of Naples. Furio's intelligence shines through in his understanding of loyalty and respect, key components of his line of work. Plus, he's got an eye for art and a heart for tradition. He might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but he knows the value of silence, and in the mob, that's golden. Bobby Bacala Bacalieri. Good old Bobby. I'd also peg him as average. He's not the guy you'd call for a strategic sit-down, but he's far from dumb. Bobby's strength lies in his emotional intelligence. He's the gentle giant, the family man who somehow finds himself in the midst of chaos. He's got a knack for model trains, which shows he's got patience and an eye for detail. And let's not forget, he managed to stay alive in this game longer than most, which means he's doing something right. He's the steady hand, the reliable one, and sometimes that's just what you need. Eugene Pontecorvo, somewhat intelligent. So, I'm thinking Eugene's in the somewhat intelligent tier. The guy's got street smarts, no doubt. He knows how to handle business on the down low and has that old-school mobster instinct. But let's be real, he's not exactly a mastermind, right? He made some pretty questionable choices that didn't end too well for him. So, he's got the basics down, but he ain't no Einstein. Ralph Cifaretto. Intelligent. Ralphie. Oh, Ralphie. This dude's a piece of work, but you gotta give credit where it's due. He's sharp, quick with a comeback, and knows how to play the game. He's got this cunning way of maneuvering through the mob politics. But genius level? Nah. His temper and, let's say, unique personality quirks kinda get in the way. So, he's sitting pretty in the intelligent tier. Charmaine Bucco. Genius. And then there's Charmaine. She's the real MVP here. Running a restaurant ain't no joke, and she does it with class and smarts. She's got the business acumen, the foresight, and she's not getting tangled up in all that mob drama. She's the one keeping things afloat while everyone else is losing their heads. That's genius material right there. Johnny Sack Sacramone. I'm placing Johnny Sack in the intelligent tier. This guy's got the cunning of a fox and the patience of a saint. He's not just a strategic thinker. He's a chess master in a world of checkers players. He knows how to play the long game, and his political maneuvering within the mob hierarchy is nothing short of impressive. He's not quite a genius, but man, he's close. Anthony Tony B. Blundetto. Tony B. Oh, Tony B. I've got to put him in the somewhat intelligent tier. He's got street smarts, sure, and he's book smart too, after hitting the books hard in the can. But his Achilles heel? Impulse control, or the lack thereof. It's like he's got a V8 engine for a brain but keeps stalling at the starting line. Smart, but not smart enough to keep out of trouble. Phil Leotardo. Last but not least, Phil Leotardo. This one's tough, but I'm gonna say he's average. Hear me out. I know the guy's been around, he's seen things, done things, but when it comes to smarts, he's more brawn than brain. He's the kind of guy who'll use a sledgehammer when a scalpel's needed. Effective, sometimes. Intelligent? Not so much. Patsy Parisi, somewhat intelligent. Patsy's the kind of guy who doesn't need to show off his smarts. He's got that subtle intelligence. He's like a chess player, thinking a few moves ahead, which is why he's managed to stay alive in the game. He's got this emotional intelligence too, knowing when to hold back and when to push forward. Plus, he's got a good handle on the numbers, keeping the books balanced. So while he might not be inventing the next big thing, he's definitely got his head screwed on right. Vito Spatafor. Average. Now Vito, he's a bit of a mixed bag. He's got the street smarts to navigate the mob life and the sense to make some decent cash. But then, he's also got these blind spots, like his personal life choices that, let's be real, weren't the smartest in his line of work. He's the guy who can plan a heist, but might not think through all the consequences. He's average because he balances out moments of cleverness with some not-so-great decisions. Angie Bonpensiero. Intelligent Angie is the one who really impresses. She's got that entrepreneurial spirit, turning a tough situation into a thriving business. She's got the smarts to run the auto body shop like a boss, making strategic decisions and keeping the cash flowing. She's emotionally intelligent too, not letting her heart rule her head, which is pretty rare in the volatile world of The Sopranos. She's the kind of intelligent that's not just about IQ points, but about making smart moves in life. Little Carmine. I'm placing him in the somewhat intelligent tier. Why? Because the guy has moments of brilliance, like navigating the treacherous waters of mob politics. But then, he drops these Carmineisms that make you go, what? He's like that friend who's a genius at chess but can't remember where he parked his car. Rosalie. Rosalie is going straight to the intelligent tier. She's street smart, savvy about the ways of the world, and knows how to handle herself in the toughest situations. Plus, she's got this emotional intelligence that's off the charts. She's the mom everyone wishes they had, with the wisdom to match. Butch. Butch. Oh, Butch. He's a tough one, but I'm gonna say average. He's not the brightest bulb in the box, but he's not completely in the dark either. He does what he's told, and he does it well, which in the mob world, sometimes that's all you need. Benny Fazio. Somewhat intelligent. I've always thought Benny was pretty sharp. He's not a genius, but he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's the kind of guy who knows how to get things done without making too much noise. I'd say he's somewhat intelligent because he's got that streetwise edge. He's not the one coming up with the grand plans, but he's definitely the one you can count on to execute them flawlessly. Little Paulie. Average. Now, Little Paulie, he's a bit of a mixed bag. I wouldn't call him dumb, but he's not exactly a candidate for Mensa, you know? He's got enough smarts to handle the day-to-day stuff. But when it comes to the big picture, he's just average. He's loyal, follows orders well, and that's about it. He's the guy you need for the muscle, not the strategy. Carlo Carvasi. Intelligent. Carlo's a thinker. I've noticed he's always a couple of steps ahead of the others. He's got that analytical mind that's perfect for the mob business. He's not just intelligent, he's tactically intelligent. He knows when to hold back and when to strike, and that's a rare quality. I'd definitely put him in the intelligent tier because he's got the foresight and the patience to play the long game. Gabrielle Dante. Average. Gabrielle, she's the rock in a hard place. I see her as having a level head, which is more than I can say for most of the characters. She's not making any groundbreaking moves, but she's not falling for the obvious traps either. She's got that average intelligence that's actually quite valuable in the world of The Sopranos. She's the steady hand in a world that's constantly shaking. So there you have it, the intelligence tier list. I know there are some picks you are not going to agree with, and that's just fine. Let me know in the comments what you think and what TV show or movie I should do next for Evil and Intelligent tier list. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.